but folks are also digging into new and exciting advances in AI-driven weather models. We know those were awfully successful last year. And one of the many big names and bright tropical minds at the conference, director of the National Hurricane Center, Dr. Michael Brennan. Dr. Brennan, great to have you back with us. It means June is fast approaching. How's the conference going so far? It feels like every year there's one big topic everybody's talking about.
Yeah, it's been great so far. We got a huge turnout from the emergency management community. Broadcast media is here, meteorologists across the country, weather service. So, yeah, as you already mentioned, a lot of talk about Melissa. We talked a lot about that yesterday, the impacts, some of the successes and challenges we faced with trying to forecast such an intense storm, such a rapidly strengthening storm, and a lot of focus on how to get people prepared for the upcoming season.
How about some of the factors as we move into this season? Because the big change being that it feels like the consensus toward the El Nino, that's been getting stronger and stronger, and it could be a strong El Nino. We know that's one of many factors that you guys at the Hurricane Center are looking at, but I guess it's nice to have at least one that's a forecast, that's a forcing toward a suppressed season.
Yeah, potentially. But every hurricane season kind of has its own ebb and flow. As we've seen the last couple of years, you were expecting normal to busy seasons. We have quiet periods, and even if you have a quiet season overall, you can still have really busy periods. So the main message we've been telling people is you've got to prepare. You're about 60 days away from the start of the season. You got to prepare regardless of what you're hearing about El Nino or anything to do with the seasonal forecast.
Right. You answered it a little bit, but I wonder in scenarios like this, because we know in the past, even with strong El Nino, if the number of storms is down, you can still have devastating hurricanes that make landfall, even if it's fewer storms. Do you have to run defense a little bit against that messaging when you're getting folks prepared for this new season?
Yeah, I think that's potentially a challenge. We also are coming off what was, for the United States at least, a pretty quiet hurricane season relatively in 2025. So you're always fighting that complacency from year to year. And if people hear, oh, it might be a less active season or there's El Nino coming, they might worry. They might start to think that they don't really need to worry about the season. But that's not the message we're trying to get across.
Right. I got to ask you about Google DeepMind. This was a collaborative effort with the good folks there at the National Hurricane Center. And what a slam dunk it was. But it's one season. So at what point do you start maybe turning the knobs and adjust the weighting of what forecast models you lean on mostly?
Well, we really base it on multiple years of performance, and we try to not, again, look at one particular storm or one particular season. And last year was really the first year we started to evaluate and even utilize the Google DeepMind model. So their model is going to be changing. The other models are going to be changing. So it's another tool in the toolbox. It's not something we're going to rely on exclusively or even to put too much weight on it compared to the other guidance we have, because we know that the combination of the best models still gives us a better answer than any individual model alone, and that all gets filtered through the human forecaster at NHC as well too.
Right, and there's so much value in that. But with these models, it seemed like with the forecast tracks, that's where they were right on the money. Shape of the storm and intensity, is that where there's some room for improvement there?
Yeah, I think we all, initially the expectation was the AI models would do really well for track because they're trained on these sort of large-scale reanalyses of the atmosphere. That's really what governs track. Intensity wasn't very good, but then they started training on some of the best track data and some of the other analyses, and we saw some of that performance improve. But getting into intensity and structure is still an area where we would like to see all of the models get better, including the traditional numerical modeling and the AI models.
I was listening to Jamie earlier, Jamie Rome, Deputy Director of the NHC, and he was talking about how the experimental cone is now the cone, which opened up a spot for an experimental cone. And that one, to me, is very interesting, using that 90% threshold that you see in many other NHC products. Are you excited about rolling that out in an experimental sense this year?
Yeah, I think it's going to be eventually easier to message because you'll be able to tell people that, within that 90th percentile, that's going to be the likely or most likely path of the center of the storm. And it also gets away from the circular shape of the cone and allows us to break down the along track or the forward speed error from the cross track error. And it also opens up a path forward to incorporate situational forecast uncertainty from forecast to forecast in the future, because we all know that would result in changing cone shape. So this is sort sort of the first step to get people used to the idea that the cone is not going to be a series of circles anymore. And with that 90th percentile, makes it a little easier to message the track uncertainty component of it too.
And with the now operational cone, including the inland warnings, nice last year that we didn't have to use it a whole lot across the hurricane zone in the lower 48 at least. But it sounds like the feedback from that was pretty well received.
Sorry, you cut out there, but I think we're talking about the inland watches and warnings.
I just wanted to
the
know
new operational cone this year.
Yeah, what some of the feedback was with that. It feels like a lot of people liked it.
Yeah, we got a lot of good feedback. I mean, I'm very glad we had that version of the experimental cone going back to 2024 when we had storms like Helene and Milton that were such, big storms from an inland wind perspective, particularly Helene with hundreds of miles of watches and warnings covering multiple states. So it made it a lot easier to message that inland wind threat. It paints a much more complete picture of the wind risk and also helps to de-emphasize the cone itself and help people see that the impacts and that wind risk extend well outside of the actual cone.
Yeah. Yep. Well, less than 2 months to go now, or I guess 2 months to go. 2 months at midnight. We'll be in a new hurricane season. Hopefully we can dodge a landfall like last year. I mean, we could use another one of those for so many in the hurricane zone. That's the National Hurricane Center Director, Dr. Michael Brennan. Always great to see you. We'll see you again in June, maybe sooner. Great to talk to you. Thanks.